Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today I'm going to be reviewing the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Power Ring figure from the Crime Syndicate Build-A-Figure line for Starro. So this is a Target exclusive. It is the last figure in this wave, and with this I now have all the pieces in order to build Starro, and I'll show that off in another video. But for right now, let's take a look at Power Ring and see if he can stand up to the rest of the guys and gal in this wave. Here we are, Mr. Power Ring. Before we get into this figure, let me just real quick show you the accessories that you get with it. With every single one of these Crime Syndicate figures, we get these little Starros here. So that makes 4 of these guys. And then we get the final lower part of Starro here. This one goes from the bottom up. And then, of course, the regular DC Multiverse base. And then a non-animated card. So this one just depicts the figure. Doesn't say anything about Crime Syndicate on the back as far as like the history of Crime Syndicate or anything. This is just the regular John Stewart Green Lantern biography on the back of the card. All right, cool. So let's talk about this figure. I like him. I really do like him. I will tell you what I like first. First, I like the paint that they put on this top portion here. I don't know what you would call this, right? But whatever this is called, I like how it's almost metallic. It's almost like a metallic green. I don't want to go so far as to say that it is metallic, but if it is, then hey, that's great. But it does have a shine to it. It has a luster to it. It doesn't just look plain and matte and just, you know, like most figures have. This one has a little bit more pizzazz to it, and I really like it. To me, when I look at this guy straight on, especially when I got him nice and close, it's a nice juxtaposition between how shiny this green part is, and then you just have like the regular standard matte black paint and then the darker green lines all around him, but this just helps make everything stand out. He does have the power ring. It is painted green, so yep, you do have that. And just overall, you know, I think the paint is pretty good. This right here is definitely the standout. Everything else is just kind of regular, just kind of plain, but you know, it totally works, and I do like that about this guy. Another thing that I like about him is that he has whited out eyes, so that means no side eye. You can turn his head whichever direction you want, and it's going to look good no matter what direction you point him towards, so you don't have to worry about that. And also, one thing that I did not notice in any other McFarlane Toys figure that I have, at least, is when it comes to the leg articulation. Listen if you can hear. You hear that? Ratchets. They have these ratcheted joints here in the legs that I can't recall another figure having it. There probably have been, but when I was just kind of messing around with this guy, I thought maybe it was just because he was tight and he needed to loosen up. But no, this is like straight up ratchet. You can hear it. Click, click, click. With each ascension or descension of the leg, and it helps him to feel really nice and sturdy. I just messed with the legs and I just plopped him right back down, and he's still standing up just fine. So for stability goes, very, very good. You may not need to use this base, but you know, if you're like me, you got a ton of them anyway, and it's always nice to have. Some other articulation with this guy. I like the way these arms feel up and down. These don't feel like they have the same like ratchets as the legs do, but it is very smooth without being overly loose. And you see, I can kind of stop them in random positions here. So it's nice and smooth, but not loose. You can move them up until these shoulder guards kind of get in the way of moving up any further, but that's okay with me. You also got yourself some double jointed elbows right there. And then, you know, rotating the wrist and hinging it back and forward, you know, you got that stuff going on too. As far as the head goes, you can't look up all that much, but he can look down a very decent way. Very decent. I mean, get that chin right into the chest. So I do like that. Good range of motion there on the head. Another thing that I like is that they, in the other John Stewart Green Lantern, I didn't like how they painted his lips black. And in a video that I did, it was probably a review, and I said, hey, listen guys, you don't have to paint his lips black. You can just leave his lips as the skin tone of the rest of his body. And they did that with Power Ring, and I think it looks a lot better, and not just painting the guy's lips black. You know, you don't have to do that. You know, I would know. So yeah, looks good. Great looking mask here. Can move the torso left and right. You move it a little bit too far, then you get that gap. And can you see that? You get that gap right there. But that's kind of telling you gotten to the point where, like, you can't rotate someone that far without breaking their spine. So, you know, move it so far so that the gap is not visible. You move it too far, hey, you got the gap there. But it is a huge range that you can go. Move them back a little bit, that's good. Move them forward a little bit, okay, that's fine. We already went over the really awesome ratchetness, well, not ratchetness, but the ratchet joints right there in the legs. Another thing that I like about this figure is that these this ankle joint right here is nice and smooth. Sometimes this can be a problem. These joints tend to seize up, not just on McFarlane figures, you know, but on other figures as well. Sometimes it can be kind of difficult to move these, especially like straight out of the box. But, you know, on here, the ankle ball joint, really nice, really smooth. And then you have the toe articulation that also has a tendency to be, you know, kind of tight or frozen upon taking out the package. But, you know, that is also nicely intact and not frozen. And then you get this wide range of motion there on the feet. Would have been great for this figure to come with a flight stand. I think you can benefit from a flight stand, but if you don't have one, you know, it's cool. I just like to have, you know, all the Superman on flight stands and have Green Lanterns on flight stands. It just, you know, it works for me better that way. And then we've got the double jointed knees, which of course out the box, pretty tight getting the double jointed knee action, but it is there. And yeah, the posability options for this guy, really, really good. Really good. And I really like these ratchets. I really, really do. I like them a lot better than the standard joints for the legs. And yeah, I'm actually surprised, you know. I didn't think this figure was going to be bad, but I didn't think that I would like him as much as I do, but I do. And in fact, I think that he just may be my favorite figure out of the Crime Syndicate Build-A-Figure wave. So if you're looking for an alternate John Stewart Green Lantern, if you're into the Power Ring thing, or if you're collecting this Build-A-Figure line, I don't think you can go wrong with this guy. I really, really do like him. This guy's definitely earned his spot on my shelf behind me, along with the rest of the Crime Syndicate figures. And I think that overall, the Crime Syndicate wave, really good wave. I like it. It's just a shame that it's a Target exclusive, so it takes forever for all of them to come out. But now that we're done with this, we move on to the next Target exclusive Build-A-Figure wave, which is going to be for the Cyborg Build-A-Figure. So get ready for the next several months of videos when those figures come out. But yeah, go ahead and scoop up this Power Ring. I think that is totally worth your time and attention. And thank you so much for your time and attention. And until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.